In the ancient world, power was measured in steel and stone, but tucked away in a harsh, barren valley sat Mecca, a poor desert town with no king, no standing army, and no formal government. Yet, despite having no military defense, people from all over the peninsula poured into this specific valley year after year. They came to worship at a simple cube-shaped structure called the Kaaba. That single building generated so much pilgrimage traffic that a handful of local families were quietly accumulating more wealth than many kings. The geography of the time reveals the danger. You have massive, heavily armed empires, the Romans, the Abyssinians, the Yemenis, all circling the peninsula. And right in the middle, sitting completely unprotected, is Mecca. That combination of vast, unguarded wealth and heavy cultural influence created a vacuum. It was a target waiting for someone with enough ambition to take it. The man who eventually marched on Mecca didn't inherit a throne. Abraha started his life at the bottom of the hierarchy, working as a slave in a minor city of the Roman Empire. He earned his freedom right as a brutal proxy war broke out. Across the Red Sea, the Roman-backed Christians in Abyssinia were fighting a severe religious conflict against the Jewish kingdom of Yemen. Seeing an opportunity, Abraham maneuvered his way into the military. He was eventually sent to Yemen as a commanding general, leading a 100,000-man army to crush the opposition. He executed that mission with extreme efficiency. But once the dust settled, he refused to hand the territory back to his commanders. Instead, he mutinied. When Abyssinia sent a force to kill him, Abraha's troops slaughtered the commanding general and absorbed his men. Through force and a string of betrayals, a former Roman slave secured the nation of Yemen for himself. He was now the most powerful king in Arabia, and his eyes were locked on Mecca. You would think absolute military control would be enough, but Abraha was frustrated. Year after year, thousands of Arab pilgrims bypassed his empire just to go circle a stone cube in the desert. Look at this intricate Byzantine mosaic ceiling. To steal Mecca's influence, Abraha poured an empire's wealth into building an architectural marvel, a massive church. He expected the entire peninsula to reroute pilgrimages here, but nobody came. The most expensive building in Arabia sat completely empty. He learned you can build the most beautiful structure on earth, but you cannot manufacture belief. Humiliated, he decided to tear the Kaaba down by hand. Abraha assembled a massive army of 60,000 men, bringing along heavily armored war elephants, a weapon the local Arabs had never faced before. They marched straight to the rocky outskirts of Mecca, locking the city into a geographical trap. To establish dominance, Abraha's forces swept through the valley and seized all the livestock belonging to the locals. Abraha summoned Mecca's chief, expecting surrender. Instead, the chief only asked for his stolen camels. Abraha mocked him for ignoring his doomed shrine. The chief replied, "I am the owner of the camels. The house has its own owner, and he will protect it." On one side, 60,000 men and ironclad beasts prepared for an assault. On the other, the people of the valley sat with nothing but the conviction that their house was already defended. The next morning, Abraha gave the order to advance, but his lead elephant stopped dead. No matter how much they beat it or pulled it, the massive animal refused to take a single step towards the city. Then the sky went dark. Historical accounts describe flocks of birds descending from the clouds, carrying small, hard stones. Some historians theorize this may have been an extreme, hyper-lethal outbreak of smallpox hitting the tightly packed army. Whatever actually descended on that valley, the physical result was catastrophic. Soldiers broke out in violent reactions, shedding their own flesh down to the bone. The sheer panic caused the entire 60,000-man force to collapse and flee into the desert. Without a single Meccan drawing a sword, the greatest military machine in Arabian history was wiped entirely off the map. The impact of this event rippled across the peninsula. Overnight, the Quraysh tribe of Mecca were viewed as divinely protected. Their wealth skyrocketed as trade and pilgrimage to the city doubled. But the world was shifting elsewhere, too. In that exact same year, historical records note that a sacred temple fire in Iran, which had been burning for 1,000 years, suddenly went out. And right there, in the newly secured city of Mecca, a local woman gave birth to an orphaned boy. His name was Muhammad. Abraha's campaign ended in the desert, but its collapse left a power vacuum in the south. This shift solidified Mecca's position as the new center of Arabian gravity, just as a new generation was beginning to take root in the city.